Hi, welcome to another episode of Cooking Cookie. How are you doing today? I'm doing pretty good, thank you. Nice of you to ask. Today we're going to make some cheesy green onion mashed potatoes. I love those kind of potatoes. They're my favorite kind of potatoes. I had already cubed up my potatoes and cooked them, pre-cooked them, and I have them already in my little mixer here, as you see. And I'm going to add the other ingredients. But when I boil my potatoes, I did about 2 pounds of potatoes, and they were about this size, which came to about 2 pounds, 4 or 5 potatoes. And I cube them up, cook them in the water, put them on the stove with 3 or 4 cloves of garlic. Tastes really good with the extra flavor of the garlic. And then bring it to a boil, then reduce it down to like a simmer or a medium low simmer, and let them cook for about another 10 to 15 minutes. Put a lid on it, but not all the way, because sometimes they'll foam up. Potatoes have a tendency to foam up. I don't know why, but they do. It must be the starches in it. That's all I can guess. But anyway, here we go with our potato recipe. We've got our potatoes in here, which I've already, like I said, drained and put in here. Then we're going to add, our sour cream. Of course, you know I'm going to put sour cream in my potatoes because I love sour cream. I'm going to put about 3/4 of a cup of sour cream, and I also put in here 2 or 3 green onions. What I do is I cut them lengthwise, chop them up. I use 2 if they're nice sized ones, and if they're not real big, which they weren't today, I use 3. So, and then I put that in there. I like fresh ground pepper as well, but we'll get to that in a little while. All right, I'm going to start mashing these. Uh-oh, our plug didn't work. Let's see if we can get our plug to work. Excuse me a second here. Oh. You're not going to believe this. It helps to use the right side. I was using the wrong switch. Okay. Silly me. Cooking cookies goofing up. Okay, we got that mixing a little bit. All right. Oh, yeah, that looks like we're not even going to need milk in it with that sour cream in there. All right, and then I'm going to put in here, to start with, about a cup of the cheese. Okay? We'll put about a cup to start to see how that goes. Okay? Yeah, that's about a cup. Oops, we're getting messy here. All right, let's see here. Let's turn this baby back on. Whip those babies up. Now, you know, some of the chefs on TV, they say, do not whip your potatoes because they're going to come out like glue or like paste. Now, how many of you grew up eating potatoes that were done in a mixer? I bet they were always good too, weren't they? Now, when I just do plain mashed potatoes, I mash them by hand generally. But when I do these cheesy ones with the onions and the cheese, I always do it this way. This is my preference. And so, since it's my preference, that's the way we're going to do it. And I'm also going to put in some fresh ground black pepper. And oh my goodness, this black peppercorn thing here reminds me of an episode of Saturday Night Live, which I will not go into. It was a little obscene, I think. All right, let's start mixing that up again. Scrape off all the sides there. What did I just do with my little thing? Oh, there it is. Let's scrape the sides, get it all mixed up in there. Actually, I think it can use a bit more cheese, so I'm going to put another cup of cheese in it. I put 2 cups of cheese in this because I like them nice and cheesy. Now, I use a sharp cheddar cheese. I like it to be sharp. But if you prefer a medium or a milder, then go ahead and use that. Use what you like. But it's got to be cheddar. Get that mixed up real good. Whoops. And then let me take a little taste to see how they're coming along, because I go by taste on this. Okay, I'm going to add maybe just a little bit of milk to it. Okay. Let them beat up a bit. There we go. Okay, now let me get okay, I have a different spoon. It's clean. It's not the same one I dipped into the first time. Mmm. Those, my dear, are heavenly. Can you see those? They are delicious. I'm going to tell you. Also, another idea for making the onion potatoes is to caramelize some regular onions. If you chop them up, put them in some olive oil and caramelize them, cook them slowly and caramelize them, bring the flavor out, the sweetness. And then put that in here instead of the green onions. Oh, it's good. It's crunchier, but it is so good. So if you don't like onions, then it's not going to work. And I know people like that, but that's for people that do like onions. Okay, and I'm going to show you one more thing that we're going to make. Oh, and by the way, in a future episode, my friend Emerald said he might come. You know, he is one of my biggest supporters on this show, I have to say. He is such a nice man. I just love him. He comes to my Christmas parties, and he poses with everybody and talks to everybody, and they have such a great time with him. When he comes to the show, I'm going to bring a couple of the Christmas pictures, because we have lots of pictures where everybody took pictures with him. All right, now the other thing, I'm not really going to cook the recipe, but I'm just going to show you. I like to grind my own chicken, because I used to buy ground chicken in the grocery stores, and they stopped carrying it. And I didn't know what to do, so I thought, well, let me try it in my own food processor. So what I do is I buy a package of, my grocer sells a combination pack of breasts and thighs. So I buy the combination pack. It's got about 4 good-sized breasts and maybe 6 thighs. And then I chop it all up and I cut it up into cubes just like this. And then I'm going to put that in my food processor, let me show you which blade I'm using. I'm using this blade in my food processor. And then I'm going to put that in here. Yeah, we love ground chicken patties. You know, you can do this for sandwiches, like a hamburger bun would be. You know how you would do a hamburger? You can do it with the ground chicken patties. And then you just get it and you pulse it. And you know what? It's best if it's still semi-frozen. And you just pulse it. And it's also easier to handle to have it be semi-frozen, because the texture is different than ground beef, and it's gooier like. So you either have to put some oil on your hands or some water, and it helps with the sticking and the gooiness. So just kind of keep pulsing it until it looks like it's all topped up. I'll show you in a second. Okay, let me show you here how it looks now. Let me get my little clean, there we go. Now see, I don't want to touch it because I don't want to contaminate anything, but it's all ground up now, just like as if you bought it in the grocery store. And you can, like say, make your chicken patties for like a hamburger style. Or another way that I like to do it, I make chicken patties. My family loves this. And you get a gravy. Afterwards, after you fry up I put a little garlic, salt, a little pepper, that's all I put on them. Fry them up on both sides on a little olive oil, just a little olive oil, just to coat the pan. I use a non-stick pan. And you can make a gravy afterwards using some broth with some cornstarch or flour, whatever you use as your thickener. I added a little salt and pepper to that, and maybe a little soy sauce. I like the way the soy sauce gives it just a little extra yumminess and flavor. Alrighty, let's see, that's our chicken patties, and they're excellent. You can add onions, you can chop up onions to put that in it, or celery, or whatever you like to put in your patties. But anyway, that's one idea. I just wanted to give you a couple more ideas here. Well, everybody, I just want to say once again, have a nice time eating tonight. I know I will. I have my son coming to visit for tonight, so I'm excited about that. I hope you all have a very nice evening. Good night, everybody.